Hello and welcome to That's the Point. You're here, hopefully, because you want to learn more about construction technology. So let's get at it. My name is Corey Meyer, joined by our recently frequent guest, Andy Dickey. You're making like a regular recurring.
I am. Good. I mean, this is after like a decade-long hiatus too, right?
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, glad to be back.
It's like old times. So don't get any ideas about royalties though, because this channel, we run on a shoestring budget here. But the previous episodes we've talked about SitePrint and the exciting kind of robotic layout solution that you guys have developed here at HP. And what we want to do is we wanted to talk about kind of a little bit more of the why we talked about the speed, we talked about the why, and we wanted to come in and talk about why it's a valid option for contractors, and specifically on the application side, talk about the disciplines and the trades that you're finding productivity gains and stuff with, because it's been a moving target, and it's been something you guys have learned a lot as this has been rolled out and as this has entered the market. Because as with any technology, right, like reality is sometimes something that's a little bit different from the concept that you had on paper. So if we jump into this, like let's begin that conversation by who is SitePrint developed for? But now let's talk about who is actually finding a ton of the benefit with a solution like this.
For sure. I think the original thinking was anyone who does layout, right? And that includes people who do exhibitions like Freeman, who does World of Concrete and ConExpo and all that, all the way up to people who print on ice rinks for hockey, the designs they put on the ice. Then, reality and practicality hits you, and you're sort of like, okay, where does this really make sense? I think the original thinking was general contractors, and I think they're progressing nicely, but it's going to take several years to get the contracts modified in such a way that makes combined layout possible.
Maybe part of the slowest part of construction is the contracts, right?
I think so. and it's just for practical reasons. Yeah. So, you write those contracts in pre-con, and then they get executed. And then the project takes 18 months. So that you could be talking about 2.5 years in that time span. So the cycles are a lot shorter, longer than we would like, but it's just the reality.
And then so we start out with the GC idea, which was when we jumped into it. But then we immediately switched over and we started to see areas where there was gaps in layout capability today. And you could easily just imagine this going in and immediately plugging in and making a difference. And so we're talking maybe about something like a drywall interiors kind of application.
Definitely, and I would include multifamily, wood frame in that as well for the exact same reasons, right? I think they have not traditionally used total stations because they're slower.
Right.
The thing about layout is you have to put a point in space, but then you've got to mark as well. And so if you imagine in your mind what it takes to do a wall, each wall theoretically would take minimum of 2 points, right?
Right.
Sometimes it's 4 if it's not transitioning to another. So you had a group of people that weren't using positioning technology, huge leap in ROI. So 10 to 12x consistently across all those customers. We also learned that we weren't as ready as we thought we would be for MEP, not from a capability standpoint, but from a speed standpoint. And that's simply because of all the good work that people like yourself have done over the years, getting them to adopt total stations, right? So, the bar gets higher if they're already using something that speeds things up. So, but now with VP 3.0, we've got the speed there where MEP and fire protection points and text consistently getting 5 to 6x ROI.
That's crazy to think that the same robot that we can, you guys did come out, you did some sensor enhancements to it that the clients could take advantage of, but it's still the same platform.
And it is, and the speed is double what it was on launch day.
Which is insane.
Yeah, it is. I'm continuously impressed, and I'm doing it every day.
And I think that's an important thing to talk about, though, is a lot of these trades are looking for different things out of their layout, and they're coming from a different place in implementing that technology, right? Like you said, with the interior guys or multifamily, which is very popular in our home state of Florida, right? We've got a ton of multifamily going on. Like that is a huge. It's not an incremental increase in your capabilities or your productivity, but it does take a shift in the mentality, right? And there is definitely a conversation to be had there about how do you change the workflow? How do you adapt this to the way that your business is already operating?
Yeah, I mean, they like to be, like I've done it, we like to be on top of each other in construction when we're doing layout, right? And it's probably not the best. Now, this doesn't need a sea of open deck to work, but you do have to work with, if you're a subcontractor, you have to work with your general contractor and say, hey, I need 4,000, 5,000 square feet all to myself in chunks over the course of this day.
That's a great point. Yeah. So, but it's not something that logistically is impossible, right?
Oh, no. And I think the beauty of it is once the GC, the light bulb goes off, they're sort of, before you do it, you don't realize that this thing is so fast. If you'll just give us this part of the deck, in total, we'll be out of your hair way faster. The whole thing just speeds up. And so once they learn that, though, they can't get enough of it.
And it's quantifiable, right?
Oh,
like
definitely.
you said, like if you give me 5,000 square foot, it's easier to block that off than be like, I don't know, they're laying out something.
Oh yeah, you don't have to. We hear a lot of our clients say, "Hey, Mr. GC, you don't have to believe us. Let us show you." And then once they see it, then it's off to the races.
So, and I think that's really interesting because it's really coming into focus where it is touching a lot of the on-site trades now. And outside of below the GC stack, and you have all your trade stacks, and it's really now with the speed, it's more about like what you want to get out of your layout. And even for the MEP guys, you're talking about much richer data. We've mentioned that in other videos as well. Like we're working with a much richer set of data that you're delivering to the deck than you would in previous. So it's not just about speed, but it's also about more information and clearer instructions. Whether it's instructions, multilingual instructions, all those things come into play with some of these trades. And this is a game changer because we never had that before.
No, we didn't. I think the consistency is what sticks out. We talked about this when we previously met. It just keeps going. The accuracy's there, the level of information is there, and you can just rely on it day after day after day. And that's difficult with layout because people get sick, people have to take leave, and all that stuff. You get mixed messages from different layout guys, even within the same firm. So yeah.
So constantly evolving, and again, it is coming to more and more trades, and as they see the need for that. And again, we have a ton of videos up here. They're all linked down below to talk about the HP SitePrint. If you want to go back, learn about how it got started, and all those through costing and all that stuff. We have videos that were specifically covering all of those different topics. Andy, thanks so much for staying around.
Thanks again. Glad to be here.
And of course, if you have specific questions about any of these particular workflows, your building plate representative will be happy to sit down and tailor SitePrint to integrate into that workflow or your existing processes. And don't forget, smash that subscribe button, stay up to date with the latest tips, tricks, and pointers. And man, I mean, it's great to have you down here. I think you're getting to like way too many miles on doing this, but maybe someday we'll meet on a job site. We should do one of these live and actually go see this thing spray some ink. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on That's the Point.